Coach Joe here. One of the things that might happen as you're creating your business and as you're building on it is the bigger it gets or the more it expands, the more responsibilities you have. Of course, I mean, that's natural. But what happens to you is that you could get bogged down. Whereas before you might have been just full of inspiration and so excited. The longer you go, the more responsibilities you have. And it might also be that it hasn't tipped to where you can hire a bunch of people to take care of the ever expanding tasks for you. So here you are, an entrepreneur or even solopreneur, and you have more and more things on your plate, but you have less and less time, and then you feel heavier and heavier and heavier, and you start to suffer from it. And maybe even your family suffers from it, and the business may even suffer from it, because part of what got people attracted to your brand was that you were happy and free about it. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about, that the base need for you as a human and also the business person is feeling free. So sometimes when people ask what I provide in the coaching, other than the strategy and the inspiration and tools and networks, resources, is that I say I provide freedom. So if you're holding 100 bags, I say give me half of those, right? I'll hold half of your bags. And the bags I can hold is to make sure that your bottom line is still intact, that you're spending, less than you're making, or that at least the trajectory for that is there, and open up your space when it becomes closed down, when you feel stressed, when you feel bogged down by the problems and the issues and everything you have to face, that I have ways to open that up, because I know that it's needed. I need that. I know that when I start to feel that walls are closing in, and I can get short, and I can get grumpy, and what I know, if that starts to happen, I have to open up the space again. I have to open it up. And some ways that I do that is I definitely look at the bigger picture. I think everybody needs to have a vision for their business and their lives, for anything, in fact, a bigger vision for their life and their business that they can constantly live into. And how you know it's big enough is you couldn't possibly fulfill on it in this lifetime. That's how you know it's big enough. So a huge, awesome, great vision. And when you go back and revisit it, your vision document, you get re-inspired. You just have to remember how come you started all this in the first place. Because if your business then started to become about the tasks that you have to perform and the boxes you have to tick, you're so far away from your original vision. Like, it's no longer speaking to you the way it was. So the ability to keep pressing that reset button and coming back to why you're doing this is crucial. It is crucial. And to start fresh, because to be consistent and build over time, you have to keep that vision alive. You must. Otherwise, again, you'll just get progressively down, progressively blue, progressively just unhappy. And I think sometimes, bosses get a bad rap. Often, people don't like their boss, or they complain about their boss. And let's say that their boss is not behaving well. I also have to think of it from that boss's point of view. Maybe they just lost their freedom. They just lost their freedom to play and have fun and create and experience the joy of this brainchild that then grew. Their vision, your project, your dream that you're building on. So what I want to remind you of is, if you feel a loss of freedom, you're basically experiencing an unmet need. So we know we have to sleep, and we know we have to eat, and we know we have to exercise, and we know we have to have love in our lives. Those are basic human needs. But I don't know if people talk about that. Freedom is a human need. Freedom. I think that's why, imprisonment is such a punishment. That's why imprisonment is the punishment we use for crimes. because it truly is a punishment. It's like the worst thing that could happen to a human is to not be free, not be able to walk where they want to walk, or the basic human freedoms that we enjoy, when they are taken away, it's brutal to a human. So we're talking about obviously extremes here, but on for you, loss of freedom could simply mean that a business or a venture that you're doing that you used to love, it was like your heart, it no longer delights you. That could be your loss of freedom. And what you might consider is quitting. And I'm telling you, that might not be the right thing. If you got your freedom back, you would love that thing again. You would get back to how come you started it in the first place. So, bottom line today, gun for freedom. Find the freedom, and the joy will come back. The joy around your business and what you're up to will return.